What's good, man? It's your boy Smallito's Way, coming at you with another video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, show some support. It don't cost nothing, my people. So let's get into this, man. A few nights ago, they released Biggie Smalls movie. It's called I Got a Story to Tell. And I'm here to talk a little bit about it. Well, in a nutshell, it's basically his man, one of his right-hand mans. I forgot what his name was, but the dude was, from the Sty. He was from Brooklyn, and, he came up with Biggie and whatever. He was basically showing a lot of backstage video and, a lot of stuff, and basically going over the story of how he came up, his influences, his struggle, his road to where he ended up being one of the greatest of all times, if not the greatest of all time. Some people still regard him as the best rapper to ever live. And what I got from it is, it's sad. It's real sad, man. Speaking from my perspective, I'm an 80s baby, and I grew up right in the thick of all that shit happening, where Biggie was taking off and he really, hit his peak. I remember when Ready to Die came out. I remember when Life After Death came out. I remember all that. I remember the whole Pac shit where Pac getting shot and the whole beef and hit him up and all the, everything. I was there. I was around. I was paying attention. At that age, I was in love with hip-hop. I was in love with rap. That was my life pretty much, listening to music, chilling with my peoples, all that. Like a lot of us coming up in that era. And, Biggie is pretty much like a lot of young kids coming up in the environment that he came up in Brooklyn and any impoverished area. He wanted more, and he started going to the streets and hustling and doing what he was doing. And, apparently he was making money doing that. He was semi-successful, whatever you want to call it. He had some good friends with him, some of them that were in the streets with him, and they were pushing him towards music. And he ultimately had immense talent that carried him through the streets and into the industry. And not only into the industry, but he took over the industry for a short while he was alive. I mean, Biggie was it. He came through and he really put New York back on the map. If you know anything about that era, West Coast, Death Row, Dre, Snoop, Pac, they were really crushing the game. They had taken it over, and there was no signs that they were going to give it back. And then here comes Biggie, a fat black kid from Bed-Stuy that could rhyme with the best of them. And he came and he gave New York his voice back, and he really put it down for the town. And I respect and love Biggie for that. You know what I mean? He really did what he had to do for New York City and New York City hip-hop. But I want to talk about hip-hop itself and the culture and what it's become. It's sad, really, because hip-hop is the only culture, only genre of music or entertainment where the fans, not all the fans, but a lot of the fans really feel that if you're not living what you're saying, or if you're not doing what you're portraying in your songs, that they don't really want to fuck with you. And I get it, it's a connection thing. So if I'm in the streets and you talking about shit that I can relate to, it makes it even more of a connection between artist and fan, when you could look and say, well, damn, this motherfucker really knows what he's talking about because he been there. He understands my struggle. And I get that completely. But now you see all these young upcoming stars, and some stars that some dudes that got killed that we won't even never get to hear their music because they was underground, but they were probably doper than everybody, but they got killed way before their time. And it's due to the hip-hop culture that people want to make sure that you are who you are, or who you say you are, which is crazy to me. One of my favorite movies of all time is Menace to Society. Menace to Society is if you know the movie, it's a great movie. It's about, You know, a bunch of young dudes coming up in L.A. doing, you know, living the trife life. Gang banging, acting crazy, you know what I mean? Going through it in the 90s in L.A. And the character Old Dog is probably one of the most notorious characters ever in you know, movie history, as far as like the urban movie history, you know. And he's played by Larenz Tate. Now, Larenz Tate, to my knowledge, I don't know his past history. I know he's from Chicago. He's not from L.A. And he's an actor. Now, does it diminish the role? Does it diminish how great he did in the movie and how good the movie was? Because Larenz Tate was just an actor and he wasn't really in the streets like that? No. So why should it be that way in hip-hop? Music is music, my people. Like, it's entertainment. We need to stop taking everything at face value and understand that these dudes are 9 out of 10, they're not who they say they are. And when they are who they say they are, they wind up doing a whole bunch of jail time or getting killed. You know, shout out to True Life. True Life was one of the dudes that was who he said he was. He was running around, acting crazy, robbing, doing all type of shit. And he wound up getting into a bad predicament and, you know, he wound up going to jail and missing probably some of the best years of his life because he was running around, you know, being who he was. And look at more recent history, King Von, another one. Another young dude with supreme talent, and he couldn't, for whatever reason, he couldn't separate streets and industry. They don't mix, people. Just like in the streets, man, if you getting money, beef and money don't mix. Because sooner or later, man, that beef, it comes with it. It does. And you got to do what you got to do. But in the same token, what I'm saying, there's a difference between doing what you have to do and looking for shit. If you one of those dudes that's turned up, you getting money, but you still turned up, and if a motherfucker look at you wrong, you ready to shoot and do all this other shit, trust me, you're not going to last that long. It's the dudes that really just keep their head down and try to avoid as much as they can. They don't run, but they avoid as much as they can and keep their grind going. That's how you win. So it just puzzles me how hip-hop is, you know, the only thing in entertainment where people want these beefs to go on. They look forward to it. I look at all these YouTube shit and it's always this dude talking about that dude and that dude talking about this dude and people hyping it up and all this shit. And then when people get killed or people get shot or people go to jail, they be the first people to say, oh, well, they're dumb. How are they dumb when you guys are putting it out there and making it seem like this is something that has to happen, that retaliation is a must and all this other shit, man? These dudes are entertainers, man. It's just about music. It is, man. I don't look at my favorite artists and say, well, maybe when I was younger, but as a grown man now, I don't look at dudes and say, let me check their record. I don't care. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me. I don't care where you came from or what you know. It is what it is. If your music speaks to me, then it speaks to me, man. Like I said, does it help if you know that this person really gets what he's talking about and really gets where you're coming from? Yeah, because you feel that personal connection between you and the artist. That's a good thing. But, you know, getting back to the Biggie thing, it's real sad, you know, because he was a genuine dude that took all his peoples out of the hood. Lil C's and all these dudes that didn't even rap. Lil Kim, he took people that, you know, was just out there on the ground with him, and he made sure that they had another way out. And he got killed over nothing. He got killed over nothing, man. And it's too many times we see this shit happening. We see it happening, and it's so normal that we lose people, and we, you know, this shit ain't normal, people. We got to change the way that we think. We got to change the way that we act, you know. People look, you know, it's sad because we don't realize that people from the outside looking in look at us and our music and our lifestyle and culture, and they laugh at us, and they actually feel bad for us, for real, because they understand the greater purpose, which is, man, that shit ain't about nothing. You know, all these petty beefs and everything, man, this shit ain't about nothing. People shouldn't die over something that's said over a song or a perception of somebody, or, you know, but it happens time and time again. And I'm just hoping that eventually things will stop. But looking at the music now, it looks like it's getting worse before it gets better. You got people disrespecting people dead, you know, dead homies. You got people talking crazy. It's never been like this. And like I said, it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. I just wish that us as a people, as a culture, come up and think about things more and start seeing shit for what it is, man. All this shit don't matter in the grand scheme of life, man. I'm telling you, who talked about who slept with who's banging what, that shit, man, it don't really matter, yo. What matters is your survival, your family's survival. Those are the things that you should be worried about. And entertainment is entertainment. When you're in a car and you want to listen to a song, don't question who the fuck is singing it or whatever. Just enjoy the vibe, man. That's it. All this other shit is retarded. I'm telling you, man. So look, man, this is just my little take on it. Shout out to Biggie Smalls' family, his kids, his mom. You know, it was a great movie. It was a great film. You know, it really, like I said, it made me sad because I felt cheated out of a great person, an icon. And it is what it is, though. You know, that's just life. So, man, listen, that's it for this one. Like, subscribe, show love, and you can always follow me on IG at YoungOG3000. Y'all be good, people. Easy.